before it's too late.
Another endangered species that is fighting for the space to survive in the wild is the cheetah. The relentless spread of agricultural activity has eaten up many areas of habitat for a wide range of African animals. There is constant pressure for land to be used to feed a burgeoning human population. However, in some areas, that has played into the hands of the cheetah. This big cat isn't the top cat here. Lions and hyenas are the cheetah's main competition for food, and some farmers' fencing has locked out the cheetah's competitors, which means this high-speed daytime hunter is able to thrive.
Because there's high stock numbers on these farms or ranches, the animals are not able to move. They breed up on these ranches. The cheetah, they've got no competition for its food. There are no hyenas, no lions. So what I'm saying is in certain areas, there's actually been a relative population explosion of cheetahs.
However, in some farming areas, the cheetah is still shot by farmers who suspect them of killing their livestock. The loss of every animal carries a potential blow to the future of the species. What worries the experts now is the lack of genetic diversity. Despite the success of a number of cheetah breeding programs, concern remains about inbreeding in the population at large. In the distant past, about 10,000 years ago, some environmental catastrophe killed all but one species of the world's cheetahs. Those remaining were forced to breed with one another, and today's cheetahs are almost genetically identical. In fact, as genetically close as identical twins, giving rise to a number of inherent defects and susceptibility to disease. Thijs de Wet is a specialist at the Hoedspruit Cheetah Research Centre who knows the problems firsthand.
There are probably about 15,000 or so left in the world, but most of them in very small populations. So none of the populations are actual viable populations, and we need just larger populations to get natural selection operating properly and get the variability in the genetic setup maintained.
This is Lente Ruta. She is a woman with a mission. She has dedicated her life to developing one of Africa's leading cheetah research centres at Hoedspruit.
I hand raised them. You can see how tame they are because I've hand raised them, so they know me very well.
Her husband Peter helped her develop the centre, and since his tragic death in 2002, the cheetahs have become everything to her.
And they were a great comfort to me when my husband died, because I had them in my house, and when I really feel very, very down, I got down on my knees and they were licking me and biting my hair, and they were a big, big comfort to me.
Now she has a plan to repay them and help save the species.
Only certain animals do breed very well in captivity, so it's very important that you get new bloodlines in all the time. What we've established here is a cheetah rescue unit. We go to the farmers and we convince the farmers not to shoot them, but rather catch them, and we pay the farmer.
The biggest threat to this plan is introduced disease from the collected animals. So the cheetahs acquired by the Hoedspruit Centre are quarantined for a period to make sure they're not carrying any contagious feline diseases that could infect the other animals. While in quarantine, the cheetahs are given a thorough medical examination to make sure they're not suffering from any of the congenital conditions that plague the species. One of the conditions they look out for is deformities in the teeth that can require surgery. The species is also susceptible to a range of gastric conditions that can often be detected early by internal examination and removal of tissue samples for analysis. Once they have a clean bill of health, the cheetahs can be released. Nevertheless, the lack of genetic diversity is still the biggest threat to the species. But Lente has a plan to help minimise the problem, and that is to rotate the male cheetah between locations. Once they have bred with the females at one location, the males are relocated to another and allowed to mate with the females there. An attempt to stop inbreeding by maximising the genetic diversity amongst their limited numbers.